doing today? Please have a seat. So, you're here for the interview for the executive assistant position, is that right? Alright, excellent. So, don't get too stressed out, don't get too, worried about this. I like to try and keep these interviews as relaxed as possible. I'm just going to ask pretty much a whole list of questions, and if it seems like it's a good fit, then we can move forward with this. I do have some other people to interview after you. I think I've gone through, I don't know. I think it's been about, I've already gone through like 6 or 7, and I have another probably about 5 or 6 left. So, but don't get too worried about it. I'm sure you'll do fine. So, let's see. Let me just get my notes. Okay. So, as you know, this is an executive assistant position for Caleb Enterprises. So before we get too deep into the questions, if you wouldn't mind just telling me a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you came from, what you've done, what your aspirations are, anything that you want to tell me. Okay, yeah, I haven't been out over in that area before, but I've heard it's very beautiful. Okay, well, that's actually really good to hear. Okay, so why do you want this job? What makes this job so desirable or interesting to you? Interesting. Okay, I guess that does make sense. Kind of goes along with kind of what you've been doing. Okay, so I guess on that note, what are your goals for this? Like, what are your dreams? What are you trying to get out of this position? Because, it'd be great to have you here for, many years to come, but, I'm sure eventually you'll want to move on to bigger and better things. So I'm just curious what those bigger and better things are. Okay, wow. That's actually pretty good. Quite impressed. So, all right, let's start getting into the actual questions. So let's see. What makes you stand out from the other applicants? Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so a big part of this job is to be able to keep track of my schedule. It really is it's a very busy schedule. I work pretty much around the clock. So I'd like you to give me an example of a time that you've kept track of another person's schedule, and the busier the better, you know. Okay. And how long did you do that for? Okay. Okay. So for this position, you'll be doing a lot of talking on the phone, so taking calls, calling other people. So I just want to know how comfortable you are with talking on the phone, and maybe if you could tell me, I guess your experience with talking on the phone in the past with jobs, or I suppose in your personal life as well, wouldn't hurt. Okay, that's pretty good. So it seems like you have a, pretty good professional resume as far as talking on the phone. So when you were talking on the phone, were there any times where you had to reject anybody or turn anyone away? Okay. And so how comfortable were you with that? Yeah, it's pretty understandable. Would you be willing to do that for this position? Because there's a lot of times where, people will try and call me, and most of the time the people that try and call me, just out of the blue are, like people that really won't be able to benefit from. So I just want to be able to make sure that you're willing to, turn people away. Okay. And do you have any experience with, turning people away in person? Because it's a little bit different in person as opposed to over the phone. Mm-hmm. Okay. Could you tell me a little bit more about that? Okay. All right. So, another part of the job is to be able to organize meetings. A lot of the time they'll be, over the web, usually like with Zoom calls. Sometimes they'll have like an actual in-person meeting, like in a conference. But have you ever organized meetings before, whether it's over, on the web or in person? Okay. And how big of meetings were those? Was it just like a few people or like a dozen people? Okay. That's pretty good. Okay. So here's an interesting question. So tell me a time where you were late to something important, and what did you do to fix it? Okay, that's pretty good. So here's some pretty typical questions. what are your strengths? What do you think you're good at? Or what do you think your strongest skills or your strengths that you could use for this particular position? That's pretty good. And so, what are your weaknesses? Okay, that's not too bad. So it doesn't have to be any particular one, but what is your personality type? I know a lot of people use the Myers-Briggs, but you can use whichever one that you want. Got the disc, gems, a lot of different kinds. Okay, that's good to hear. Yeah, it sounds like you'll, fit right into this position. Okay, so what is your biggest failure? And so what did you do to try and fix that problem? Okay. All right, that's not too bad. Let's see. So, how proficient are you with computers? Because obviously you'll have to be working with computers quite a bit. Okay. And how in depth were those computer classes? Okay, well, that's good to hear. Have you used any specific scheduling software before, like maybe like Calendly or Schedule Once, something like that? Okay. All right, that's good. And so, do you think you work better alone or in a group? And why do you think that is? Okay. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Okay, so for this position, it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of time. So quite a bit of commitment. How flexible is your schedule? If we need to make any quick changes, maybe either work overtime, come in early, or maybe if we have a good day, can get you home early or something. Okay. So, on that note, are you willing to travel to different places? Because I know it doesn't happen like a lot, but fairly regularly. I'm gonna have to be traveling to different places. Whether it's just for like a weekend or maybe a week. So, do you think you'd be able to, travel to these different places? Obviously, it'd be, paid for and everything by the company. Okay. That's good to hear. Okay, so what skills are you most proud of? Okay. Let's see. So, how many business executives have you talked to in the past, whether it's over the phone or in person? Okay. And what kind of company was that for? Okay. So, theoretically, if you were to get this job, how soon would you be able to start? Okay. That's pretty good. Okay. Well, I think that's all the questions I have for you. Let's see, are there any questions that you have for me? Okay, that's good. So, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I actually really liked what I heard. I was quite pleased with that. You know what? I think I think I'm gonna hire you. I know I said I had another 5 or 6 people that I had to interview after you, but after doing this interview, I think I have a good feeling. That your answers were very good. So I'd really like to bring you on board and get you started as soon as possible. So congratulations, and I absolutely look forward to working with you very soon. So let's see, you said in about a week you'd be able to start? Okay, excellent. So here's what I'm going to do. I have your email. So, after we leave for today, I'm going to send you an email just about the basics, and pretty much everything that you're going to need to get started. And then on your first day, I'll kind of, it'll be a lot of on the go, kind of on the job training and stuff like that, because we're like kind of always moving. But I'm sure you'll get the hang of it. So, anyways, great interview. Glad you have you on board, and I will see you next week. Alright, sounds good. Take care.